look out my window, many sights to see. And when I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. You got to pick up every stitch, you got to pick up every stitch, you got to pick up every stitch. Must be the season of the witch, must be the season of the witch, yeah, must be the season of the witch.
38 years. One wouldn't expect a movie adaptation, one of the most iconic horror book series of all time, to take this long to be made into a movie. But then again, it did take 15 years for Pixar to make a sequel to The Incredibles. Good things take time, and I'd be lying to you if I said that this wasn't a good movie despite its PG-13 rating. You're watching After Dark Music, and this is my review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and feel free to leave a comment down below to let me know what you think. It helps me get a better idea of what you guys like, and a chance to better communicate with my audience. But without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. Within the movie, you find yourself in a beautifully molded 1960s setting, following three teens and a lone wolf, Ramon, in the small town of Mill Valley, Pennsylvania. Following the lead of their horror-obsessed friend Stella, the group finds themselves caught in the middle of a haunted house belonging to the main antagonist, Sarah Bellows, an outcast child locked away from the rest of the world by her family, having really nothing other than her thoughts to keep her company. When Sarah was young, she wrote a book loaded with an assortment of scary stories, and the stories in the book caused the deaths of many people. When Stella decides to open the book and begin reading from it, the dark energies within the book escape, causing those things to happen all over again, except rewritten for her and her friends. As someone who's an avid horror fan, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I couldn't help but feel an insatiable desire to watch it on the big screen. I remember checking out the book for the first time at my elementary school's library and being starstruck with the gruesome yet oddly satisfying artwork. Looking back, now that I think about it, I honestly believe that the book is what got me personally into the horror genre to begin with. To some extent, I was somewhat scared to watch this movie, seeing how some of the most recent horror releases and remakes have been handled, like The Nun, for example. I feel as if they fall kind of flat, either being way too predictable or not really adding anything new to their respectable franchises. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, however, feels fresh. While following some of the standard horror cliches, the movie makes up for that with its storytelling, monster design, and perfect recreation of 1960s America. As I mentioned earlier, while this movie still holds a PG-13 rating, it doesn't detract from the movie whatsoever. It wasn't as gut-wrenching as I had hoped, but there were still some really screwed up scenes, especially the first story with Harold the Scarecrow. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you do decide to watch this movie, it was great. The scene was very good at creating the feeling of isolation and pure dread. The monsters in the movie were for the most part very faithful to the original source material, using a combination of practical effects as well as makeup and not all that much CGI. And where there was CGI used, it looked real and was used sparingly. Their overall plot, while taking its own liberties, didn't feel like it ruined the book in any way. The actors that they had casted for these kids did exceptionally well with their roles and didn't at any point, at least to my recollection, feel awkward or forced. There were moments to the film that feel like they may have dragged on a bit too long, but honestly, it didn't bother me. I still found myself invested in the film. It wasn't boring at all. The payoff after getting through those moments was more than worth it. The movie definitely pushed my nostalgia button, and while I feel like people my age will certainly appreciate the film, younger audiences would too. It's not a 1980s classic like The Thing or the Alien movies, but it's definitely something worth watching. There was definitely love put into it, and it shows. You're probably wondering what I'd rate the movie, if I enjoyed the ride, and if you would too. Yeah, for sure. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. It set up a great world with amazing characters that were relatable and interesting. If you made it this far through the video, I just want to take a minute to thank you for sticking around. This was my second attempt at doing something like this. I hope you enjoyed my review, and if you did, drop a like. I really like making these videos and plan to do more in the future. Until then, I'll see you all next time.